Hello and welcome to another episode of Solo No More. I'm Catryce, your host, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm high. That being said, I popped a little high burst this evening because I was just like, why not? As I was sitting on the couch and I was I don't like everyone just kind of says like doom scrolling, and I don't really know what we just call like the basic scroll. I don't know. I guess we would just call it scrolling. Like I was just scrolling through reels and not really searching for inspiration, just really looking for entertainment. And I don't know, there wasn't really anything in particular that I saw that inspired this episode, but I kind of was like, I think that I should kind of talk about what I'm loving in my business right now. I think that this for myself will be really nice to kind of like, put out there, put out into the universe for me to have this documented in this way for me to come back to, but also for you, like, for you to be able to kind of hear what's going on in my business, what I'm really loving, what's working for me. And I think it's really important as you're listening to this episode to remember one, that you are me, and that is a-okay, and you have a unique business. And what works for me does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And you have to really figure out in business what works for you. I feel like that is like, as I'm entering my biggest launch season, looking at all my offers and everything, like the core message that I'm trying to get across with everything is that your business is unique in terms of like structure as the CEO, the mastermind behind it all. But you also have to remember that like your business, like what you go through isn't always going to be unique to you. People, every business has highs and lows, but your business is unique. And so the approach that you take to every challenge, how you celebrate every win, is going to not always be the same as everyone else. Now, with all of that, that's kind of like a little bit of a disclaimer. Let me take a sip of my Minute Maid real quick. I think that it's really important to give a holistic view of business, and you are a complex human being, and there's so much that goes into like from ourselves that go into our business. So before I dive into this list and kind of explaining everything, I want to remind you, and if you don't already, like if you don't know already, like this will be brand new information, but like the summer of 2022 was an extremely hard summer for me. I made less than $100. By the end of summer, I had to close down my very first business, which was a life coaching business. And I've learned a lot since then. I will say that, I do think that it is really nice to be able to learn from others' mistakes. That's something that I really want others to be able to do with me, like to be able to take my story, my experiences, and kind of, you still have to test the waters, see what works for you. But like, there are some things that if I could go back in time, I would change simply because, I'm older, wiser, and everything. But when I look at where I'm at now in business and I look at where I was in the summer of 2022, and I will always come back to the summer of 2022 because to this day, that was probably the hardest, like roughest parts of like my experience as an entrepreneur. 2022 in general was like a really rough year for me, but that summer was really rough because like I was freshly full-time in my business. I was making no money. By the end of summer, like I said, I had to shut down my business. I was literally just living off of goldfish and orange jello in a roach infested apartment. Like it was nuts. Now, let's actually get into what I wanted to talk about in this episode, which is like things that I'm loving that are going really well in my business. Again, disclaimer, what works for me may not work for you, but I think that it's really important to share this because I do feel like I'm not special. The sentence that almost just came out of my head sounded very like, I'm so special, I'm so unique. But like, I do feel like I oftentimes am someone who will go against the grain. I am not someone who is like, cookie cutter, copy and paste. So let's just dive in. So I feel like this is going to be so filled with filler words. Okay, going on. Blending planned content / scheduled content with spontaneous content. So just I'm looking at my phone, by the way, for this because when I came up with the idea, I was like, let me list these out real quick. But what I mean by blended, like the blending of planned slash scheduled content with spontaneous content is back in 2022, I was like a massive content batcher. I was like, I would figure out what was trending, I would hop on the trends, I would batch a bunch of content, and then my drafts would just sit full. Like, I always had like 50 plus drafts at any given moment. And so, kind of what I've been doing, and all of this kind of revolves around the idea of me entering this launch season. Like, I cannot tell you how much growth I've seen in myself, how, like, the shifts that are being made and how I approach business because of this launch. We'll have to do a debrief at the end of fall when I, like, finish launch season and everything, because it's wild. But kind of how I'm approaching things is I've planned out content. I have a shit ton of emails written. So I had 6 warm up emails, 6 pre launch, 19 promo emails currently, and I still have 2 more emails to write, and I'm saving those 2 for when I'm a little bit deeper into the promo phase. And I'll talk more about this in a future episode, but the reason that I'm doing this is because I really want to because these will be the last 2 emails of the launch that get sent out. I want them to really hit home, and I want them to get those, like last minute Lindas like in the door in the offer. But with having those emails planned out, and this kind of bleeds into a few other points that I have, is like having those in my notes app, macro to micro content batching, is because I planned out these emails, wrote these emails, and then went and turned them into Instagram captions, pulled from the emails and made threads, pulled from the captions and made threads. Like, I really broke it down like it was this beautiful funnel of content creating. And it was so seamless and it was so easy. It was really, really, really hard getting the emails done, but that was the heavy lifting. That was the hard part. And it was so much, everything else has been so much easier since then. But like, with that being said, I have Instagram content planned out for this launch. I have threads planned out for this launch. I want to speak specifically to reels and kind of Instagram content, is that I have stuff planned and scheduled, but I've also found that with getting my work done way early, like I'm the most prepared I've ever been for a launch. And with going into that and having everything planned and scheduled, I also am finding that now I have space to just breathe and to be creative and to really think and just kind of have fun on social media, which is so cool. And like, it's been so long. I cannot tell you how long it has been since I've had fun on social media like I am right now. Summer 2022 was rough, but let me just tell you, I loved content creating during the summer of 2022. I was making $0 basically, and I loved just putting out content, putting out content, putting out content. Now, where I'm at with captured media and going into this launch is I have planned content. Things are getting scheduled out. They have a specific message. I'm trying to speak to an ideal client, all those things. But I'm also having moments where I'm scrolling reels and I'm like, ooh, I like this trend. I love this audio. I'm going to film real quick. I'm going to film real quick. I'm going to film real quick. I'm going to edit. I'm going to write up a good caption and I'm going to post it. I'm not even going to think too much about it. I'm just going to go for it. And I love this because there's this balance in my content of like, there's fun, there's creativity, and not that my launch content isn't fun and creative, but it's a little bit like it has purpose, it has a mission. Like the mission is to make money. And so I've loved the blend because I think going forward when I'm working with clients, it's let's plan out your content. Let's get content planned so you know what's coming. You have a consistent marketing and sales strategy. We are figuring out what really works, what's going to get you money, how you're going to turn viewers into followers and followers into paying clients and everything, get them through the funnel, the customer journey. But also, like, if you schedule out your reels for the next 2 weeks, it doesn't mean that you have to stop. You can't create and post more. Something that I still struggle with this a lot. Like, I don't believe that we should worry a bunch about your follower count. Like, how many people follow you does not really mean anything in terms of how much money you can make online. I have less than 1,000 followers for Captured Media. I've had over 100 clients at this point. I've worked with amazing like badass business owners who have signed contracts for, paying me 1.5K a month to people paying me as little as $197 a month. Like, and I've made really good money. I've like my highest like income months I had, I want to say 3 or 4 months consistently where I was making about like 3.5 to 4K a month with less, like at that point I think I probably had maybe even less than 500 followers, but follower count does not matter. But as someone who got started in the industry from being an influencer, and really, let's be honest, like it doesn't even just apply to influencers, like we are taught from an early age, and I say early age as like our how long we've been on social media, like us ourselves. Obviously social media and the internet is so new, it's so young compared to like everything else in life. But like we've been taught that, our follower count matters. How many people follow you matters. And it really ultimately does in the grand scheme of everything. But for me, sometimes I fall into these pits. I remember it was probably like late last year. I've seen these accounts pop back up on my For You page. And there are some girls that I was like super excited that I came across their content. They had amazing content. They were wanting to start businesses in the online space. And I really wanted to nurture those relationships. Honestly, at that point, I was not good at nurturing relationships. I'm much better now. But these were girls who were like posting all the time. And recently they've started popping back up on my feed and they have like so many followers. And to me, sometimes I'm like, I just don't, it is so draining to, post every single day. And I've done it before. I've done the 30 days. I've done over 30 days of posting every single day. And like, it's draining. But and I'm not really going for like, I don't really want to go viral. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't really want to go viral. I've gone viral before, hit over 1 million views on a reel before. It was an experience, to say the least. It was an experience. Going viral is nice, but you really can't control that virality is really going what it's going to do and the pockets of the online space it's going to put you in. Going on though, the thing is talking about content and, posting every day is like, I may not be able to post every single day because I don't have that bandwidth right now. I don't know if I'll ever have that bandwidth. I probably would have to have someone else helping me create content, but having things planned and scheduled out and then having the space to come back and be like, oh, I really like this trend. I really like this audio, whatever, and be able to create content. So not only am I posting consistently for my launch, but I'm also posting, like I'm increasing my visibility by posting more. And that wasn't really the intent. I just was like, I feel so creative. Let me just, bust out some more reels. But I do, like that does correlate to increase in visibility and those things. And so I'm really interested in, again, post launch, we will do a little debrief on how the launch went. We'll talk numbers. But like, I'm very interested in how this space to be creative, this ability to actually, just have fun online will affect my business. And I think it's going to be really positive. The next thing that I'm really loving in my business right now is I'm loving launching in public. I was really nervous at first when my coach Megan had told me that that's what I should do for this launch season. I was nervous because I was like, I haven't really done this before, but I gave it a go and I'm actually really, really loving it. I'm loving the, being able to pull the curtain back. And I'm going to be completely honest, I don't have a lot of people asking me questions about launching or those types of things, at least in a public setting, like when I put question boxes. But I do know that I guess the big thing for me when it comes to my online presence is I really want people to be able to see that. I really want people to be able to see see themselves and feel seen. I want them to know that they're not alone in, trying to build a brand and trying to make money online and starting from scratch and all these things. And so launching in public's been so fun because it's been so exciting, like celebrate all the wins and kind of talk through some of the lows. Like last week I had to push some things on my to-do list to this week, and, being able to kind of just openly share the process, the journey has been so fun. And I'm so excited to see how, like, kind of how my audience evolves. I think that this is really new for me still, and this is probably really new for them in terms of like seeing me do it. It's obviously not a new concept launching in public, but like I am really excited to kind of see as my audience evolves and kind of gets more in tune and aligned with the idea of, launching in public and what that means and what that looks like, and like, being able to get excited together as a community. And it's been so fun on the back end, like working with clients and being able to not just have clients sharing their wins with me, but I'm also sharing my wins, and we're talking through and we're talking about the highs and lows. It's really opened up more avenues, more space for us to have some open dialogue about like kind of the experience of entrepreneurship. And then something else that I'm loving that I'm doing in my business that I was doing right before I decided to record, not post, but to record this podcast episode, is kind of using Threads as a comment section. And what I mean by this is that I will be scrolling my Reels For You page, and when I see something that, I have a hot take or an unpopular opinion regarding that, I'm not doing it in the comments. Like, I'm not there to get, to make them feel like that creator feel any type of way. I'm not trying to like, poke the bear or create, I don't know. I'm trying to take it away from them having to deal with like, if the comment blows up or that stuff. I'm trying to take it out of that space and bring it into where it's my space. And so doing that has been really cool because sometimes I struggle with what to say on Threads when I'm just like, okay, I need to post to Threads, but this gives me kind of more of a strategy. And I'm going to be completely honest, I plan out Threads, like I schedule Threads. Not every single thing that you see posted on Threads is me actively posting to Threads. But in moments where I'm like, okay, I need to, again, we are not slaves to the algorithm. The algorithm does not control our experience. Well, it does control our experience in terms of like what it pushes to us, but it doesn't have to determine like how we show up in the space. Like, we don't have to let it dictate how we show up. But, algorithms do care. The apps do like care about us being active on them. And so when I'm having moments of like, okay, I have 15 minutes, let's bust out some threads, let's get active, let's, start some conversations. What I do is I have been scrolling through my Reels feed when I have like thoughts on someone's, how they recorded the reel, the text that they put on the screen, or maybe they could have added more value in the caption, those types of things. Like when I have some commentary like that, I'm putting it on Threads. I'm not adding anyone. I'm not like, making it personal. I'm just like putting it out there. I'm like, these are my thoughts. And also something that I'm loving is that I'm not coming and hiding behind, oh, this is a hot take, or, oh, this is an unpopular opinion. Like, I'm like, no, this is what we need to be doing. I'm seeing this online. We need to change this. Or you want to make money online, but you're doing X, Y, and Z. Here's an idea of what you should be doing instead. So I'm loving that. And the last thing on my list that I'm loving right now is I'm kind of just really enjoying podcasting and kind of my setup, because what I do is super simple. I'm keeping it really easy for myself, but I'm loving Nami's growling at Kaya. Going on though, something like it's super simple, and what I'm doing is I'm really just plugging my mic into my computer. I'm recording on Riverside. As soon as I'm done recording, I go in, I do like, I really let the AI kind of do editing. I don't even listen to the episodes before I put them out because I just don't care. And I love this, like I love having this mindset for myself, because growing up, and I still am, like at my core, I'm a perfectionist. I'm an eldest daughter. Like, I am a perfectionist. And when it comes to podcasting, I just kind of let it be. I'm like, I'm just like, Jesus, take the wheel. Basically, I'm like, AI, do your thing. And, whatever happens, happens. And I just really like that because, Riverside has a bunch of different AI features for editing. And so I do the editing, I upload to Spotify for podcasters. I take the video, I put it on YouTube. Like, I just love the simplicity of it. And it's kind of just like really nice to not go into every episode being like, this is what I have to talk about. And I have to be so salesy and I have to be such an expert, but really to be able to, I'm just really proud of myself for creating a space for me to be able to just kind of sit and talk and, allow people opportunity to just kind of like, exist in the space with me. But yeah, like, thanks so much for tuning into this episode. I would love to hear kind of what's working in your business. What are you loving? What's lighting you up in your business? Like, shoot me a DM. I want to hear. Let's start conversations. Let's talk about it on Threads. But again, thank you so much for listening to Solo No More, and I will chat with you next week.